President Trump says former White House aide Omarosa Manigault Newman lied when she called him a racist who was heard using the N-word on tape. The president tweeted last night, "I don't have that word in my vocabulary and never have. She made it up." But a new recording obtained by CBS News overnight seems to back up Omarosa's story that several Trump advisors discussed an alleged tape during the 2016 campaign. Weijia Zhang is at the White House. Weijia, good morning.
Good morning, John. Trump campaign advisors yesterday denied any conversations took place, but this new recording given to CBS News by Omarosa contradicts that. CBS has not been able to verify the authenticity of the tape, but it does appear to confirm Omarosa's claims that Trump campaign officials were aware of this tape in which then candidate Trump used a racial slur, and they talked about how to handle it.
It rolled off his mouth, kind of like when you first heard the Access Hollywood tape.
During her whirlwind book tour, former White House aide Omarosa Manigault Newman claims to have heard a recording of President Trump using the N-word during his time on The Apprentice.
You would never imagine he talked that way.
In her new book, Unhinged, Omarosa claims the Trump campaign was aware of the existence of the tape. She describes an October 2016 phone conversation with Lynn Patton, then assistant to Eric Trump, spokesperson Katrina Pearson, and campaign communications director Jason Miller, in which they discuss how to deal with the potential fallout from its release.
I'm trying to find out at least what context it was used in to help us maybe figure out a way to spin it.
Patton then described a conversation she had with then candidate Trump about making the slur.
I said, well, sir, can you think of any time that this might have happened? And he said no.
Well, that's not true.
He goes, how do you think I should handle it? And I told him exactly what you just said, Omarosa, which is, well, it depends on what scenario you're talking about. And he said, well, why don't you just go ahead and put it to bed? I don't know what the scandal is. No, he said it. He's embarrassed.
Pearson denied the call ever took place during an interview on Fox News Monday night.
Katrina Kirsten said he said it. Did that happen?
No, Ed, that did not happen. It sounds like she's writing a script for a movie.
The White House and Trump campaign have not provided a response to this new development, and neither have Pearson or Patton, who in a tweet last night also denied the existence of the phone call and called Omarosa's book a work of fiction. Now, it should be noted that at the time of the call, all the participants said that they themselves had not heard the recording of President Trump. John?
Weijia, thanks. Omarosa Manigault Newman is with us in Studio 57. Her new memoir, Unhinged, is published by a division of Simon & Schuster, which is owned by CBS. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's start with the tape. You said you had done some taping when you were fired to protect yourself. But this is during the campaign.
Absolutely.
Why are you taping things in the middle of a campaign?
The moment we start talking about the N-word tape, I was surprised, as you heard on that recording, how no one doubted that he said it. And in fact, they had worked to try to suppress this tape for so long. And everyone says, he said it, he's embarrassed, he doesn't want this to come out. And now they're saying they have never heard these allegations. And it's ironic that these are high-level campaign staffers talking about how to react.
About why you were taping. I'm curious, too, about why were you taping?
Because the truth matters, Gail. And in fact, if I didn't have tape, you all would probably be wondering if, in fact, they did talk about it. She mentions Kellyanne on the tape and says that she talked to Kellyanne, or Kellyanne discussed this with the President of the United States. And now he's tweeting at me, saying that he never said it, it's not in his vocabulary, when he discussed this on Trump Force One during the campaign.
But stepping back from the specifics of the tape, the question with everything you're saying and you're coming forward, you were taping during the campaign.
Oh, yeah.
There is this question about your credibility and the fact that you were kind of already taping things and working behind the scenes during the campaign. My father had an expression, you know, we can't hear you because your actions are speaking more loudly. Why are people supposed to pay attention to what you're saying now when you're the kind of person who would be taping campaign press conference or phone calls in the middle of the campaign?
Yes, I'm the kind of person who covers her own back. In Trump world, everyone lies. Everyone says one thing one day and they change their story the next day. I wanted to have this type of documentation so that in the event I found myself in this position where, as you said, they're questioning my credibility, saying they never discussed the N-word tape, they had never heard these accusations, the president had never heard these accusations, when in fact this tape proves that that they discussed it at high levels of the Trump campaign.
Well, Frank Lentz reached out to me because you had said he had heard it. He said you never called him, emailed him.
No, I didn't. In fact, the book says that Katrina...
He said, I've never heard the president use that word.
Well, it's important. In Unhinged, I never say that I spoke to him. Katrina Pearson, the spokesperson for the Trump campaign, says on that recording that she communicated with him and that he had heard it. I speak very clearly in this chapter about what happened between Katrina and Frank Lentz. He's absolutely right. I never spoke to him, never reached out to him. I was simply reporting what was on the tape.
He says it's not true. But why do you want to work in a world, as you say, where everybody lies? Why do you want to be
Well, I've been in politics for 20 years. Everybody lies in politics. I worked in the Clinton administration during the Monica Lewinsky scandal, where he never had relations with her, and we found out that that was a lie. I learned very early on in politics that this is a cutthroat world, and you have to be tough. 20 years in politics, and I've learned some lessons. Number one, you have to look out for yourself. And two, things change, relationships change, and people always protect themselves. You have to look out for yourself.
Omarosa, there are conflicting reports as to when you first heard the tape where the president allegedly uses the N-word. There are reports that you heard this last year while you were still working in the administration.
I didn't hear it last year.
When did you first hear it?
I did not hear it until after I closed the book, and I had an opportunity to fly out to California, and the person allowed me to hear it. Had I heard it while I was working in the White House, I would have left immediately.
So let's say the tape exists. Now what? What is the purpose of... So the tape comes out, we hear it. What do you hope will come out of this?
Well, the sad thing is, as we saw with Access Hollywood, it probably won't impact his base. I think that their support is baked in, but it does expose him for the racist that he is.
You also said that you and the president in your book have a symbiotic relationship, that you two used each other. What is the nature of your relationship, Omarosa? There's all sorts of rumors about you and Donald Trump. Can you tell us what is the nature, or what was the nature of your relationship? I know you're happily married. I just met your husband backstage. Very nice.
My very handsome, smart, talented husband, John Allen Newman.
But what is the nature of your relationship?
Donald Trump was my mentor, Gail. He was my mentor for many, many years. And, you know, in 2003, I wanted to be like him. I grew up in extreme poverty in Youngstown, Ohio. And I aspired to be a billionaire one day. And what better way to become a billionaire than to study under a billionaire?
The two of you never had a romantic relationship?
Absolutely not.
Well, you've heard that rumor, I'm sure.
Well, that's a charge that's launched against successful women to kind of degrade them and undermine their success. I'm very well educated. I have incredible experience, and I have never had to leverage sex to get anywhere I needed to go.
So what do you hope will come out of all of this?
I think the truth matters, and I believe that we should keep the truth as a priority. In this administration, they struggle with the truth, and they construct their own reality, deceiving the American people.
Very quickly, you have everything that you say in the book backed up by tape or email?
Absolutely. If you see it in quotes, it can be verified, cooperated, and is well documented.
And you keep, it almost feels like a form of blackmail with the tapes. Either release the tapes...
I'm not asking for anything. I'm telling my story in Unhinged. I'm telling my story in Unhinged. If you get the book, you see the quotes, it is backed up and verified.